Alrighty, so today I'm going to be drawing a fish with a Pentel sign pen. This specific pen is indeed the Pentel sign pen, and it is a plastic nib brush tip style pen that, in my personal opinion at least, is quite affordable. The last time I bought one of these pens, I want to say it was about $1.75, $2 or something like that. Although do take what I say with a grain of salt because it has been a couple years since I bought one of these pens. But I've owned two of these pens over the years, and I enjoy using this pen quite a bit, I ain't gonna lie y'all, because the brush-style plastic nib gives the drawing a little bit of variation in line, size, and density, and permanence, and some a little bit in color as well kind of thing. Overall, using this pen to draw with definitely does make the drawing, in some cases at least, more interesting than not, as by controlling the pressure you use with this pen, you can get different line densities and different line sizes. I really do like using this pen to draw, basically just because it gives me a slightly more interesting drawing if I am able to accurately control, or honestly completely not accurately control, the pressure that I'm putting on the pen. But I do think without further ado, it is now time for me to go ahead and get my Soho Urban Artist Sketchbook all opened up. And it is now time for me to go ahead and flip to an open page. Let's see if I can find an open page. Let's see if I can find, I think there's, let's see, is this page open? This page is open. Let's go ahead. There we go, just like that. And let's go ahead and just take a look at the pen itself. So this is a Pentel sign pen as said, and on the front of it we can just see that it just says Pentel in silver and then just a bunch of kanji, and then it just says SES15N. I don't know what that means, but we can see the kanji says, well, I guess we can't really see that the kanji says because it's in kanji. I personally cannot read kanji, but I did translate it before this video, and the kanji basically just says brush style pen, something along the lines of that. I couldn't get an accurate translation due to the handwritten style of the kanji, but I'm pretty sure that's essentially what it said, as when I stuck it into Google Translate, it came up with like brush tip or something like that kind of thing. On the other side of the pen, it just says Pentel sign pen right there, made in Japan. Pretty cool if I do say so myself. And of course, this is a cap style pen, so let's go ahead and get the cap off, and let's go ahead and just see what the weight of the pen is like. I'd have to say the weight of the pen right off the bat is very much evenly weighted. It's a very, very, very light pen, that is for sure. Very evenly weighted, which is something that I don't like, but when you put the cap on the back of the pen, it becomes much more back heavy than not, which is very much to my preference. I'm going to go ahead and put my piece of paper in landscape mode, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring this down just a little bit so we can get some close-ups on the drawing. And I do think without further ado, let's go ahead and start drawing the fish let's go ahead and start drawing the fish, starting with the jaw. I'm getting my words all jumbled up today, I ain't gonna lie, I really am. Let's go ahead and start off with the jaw though, just like that kind of thing, and we can see I'm reducing pressure, and then I'm increasing it once again, and we can see that line did get a little bit thinner as it got down, but I will admit, compared to some other brush style pens, the amount of pressure you apply to this pen does not matter as much, in all honesty kind of thing. It's really either just on or off, which is something I do like about this pen, and is also something I do dislike about this pen. But it's more of a good thing than not in my personal opinion. Let's just go ahead and do the bottom of the fish now, just like this. A lot of and I messed that up a little bit, whoopsies. A lot of the, I'd have to say, thinness and thickness of the line comes from also the angle of the pen that you're holding it at. If you hold it from this angle versus this angle, you're going to get a different line look. You're going to get a different look on your line. So I definitely have to say a lot of the unique features of this pen are not only have to do with the pressure you apply to the pen, but also to the angle you hold it at. Let's go ahead and do the top of the fish now, just like this. There we go. And let's just go ahead and do the tail real quick. And I was very, very, very light there, and we can see I got a very, very, very thin line just like that. Smearing this, trying to smear it. Nope, it doesn't smear. This writes more similarly to I can't ever say this word, more similarly than not to a felt tip marker. I'd have to say when you're writing with this, it really does feel like you're writing with a very smooth, very bold, felt tip marker, something like a micron or a Sharpie ultra fine point or something like that kind of thing. Definitely not like a Sharpie fine point by any means, but it definitely does feel like a very bold, like 1.0 size felt tip marker, although I'd have to say a little bit smoother. This pen is a very, very, very smooth writing pen, which is something I do like quite a bit. Let's go ahead and do the eye real quick, just like that. And just like that, and we can see it's a little bit uneven, just giving the drawing just a little bit more of an interesting look, which I really do like. And let's just go ahead and start on this. I definitely have to say the pen prefers to be written with or to be drawn with from more of an upright position. You can use it at an angle, but it definitely does prefer to be used at more of an upright position, that is for sure. And let's just go ahead and do the fins real quick, just like that. And we can see, depending on the pressure I put on the pen, we're going to get different size lines, which does make sense because this is a brush style pen after all. And I'm just putting a bunch of fins on this fish right here. Just like that. There we go. Certainly no complaints on my behalf, and that is pretty much the fish in all honesty. Now, I will admit, as you guys can see, some of the lines are a little bit faded, specifically with the teeth and everything like that kind of thing. Some of the lines are faded. That's because this pen is, I want to say, just about 2 years old now. This pen is pretty old, if I do say so myself, and I've used it quite a bit. So, yeah, you do see some sort of like, what's the right way of describing it? Some sort of like areas where the color is definitely not as distinct as it should be due to the pen either running out of ink or just being old in general kind of thing. But when the pen was new, it was not doing that, if I remember correctly at least. But no, overall this pen is a pretty solid pen to draw with in my personal opinion. I enjoy using this pen quite a bit to draw with. It definitely gives you a more interesting look than not. And if you're looking for a pen to kind of bridge the gap between a full-on brush tip calligraphy pen and a pen like a, let's say something like a micron or a Sharpie ultrafine point, I think this pen is a really, really, really good starting point. I ain't gonna lie, it's not really too brush-like where you really have to be really careful with how you control it and everything like that kind of thing with pressure and everything like that kind of thing. You don't have to be too careful with this pen. You can go ham on it and it'll be just fine. But if you don't want to go ham on it and you want to be really careful with the pressure and everything like that, this pen can also do that. So yeah, I definitely have to say, if you really want to kind of bridge the gap between a full-on calligraphy brush pen and a normal felt tip pen, this really is the way to go. The Pentel Sign Pen, made in Japan, is definitely my personal pick for that, in my personal opinion. Comparable pens to these would definitely be, let's see if I can grab it real quick. I think I have it somewhere over here. I do indeed. Comparable pens to this pen right here would definitely be like the Kurtok Fudogochi or something like that kind of thing. This is a pretty good pen that gives you a pretty comparable look in my personal opinion, and it's about, I want to say it might be slightly more expensive than this pen right here, but as I said, it's been a couple years since I bought one of these pens. Overall though, no, I really do like this pen. I really enjoy drawing with it, and while it might not give you the most unique look in the world for a brush pen, it definitely is a good practice pen to kind of just figure out what you want to do with brush pens, and it does give you a more unique look than not, as you can very finely control the density and the size of the lines that you're putting down with, well, this pen right here. I think that's all I have to say about the Pentel Sign Pen plastic nib brush tip pen though. I don't think I'm missing anything. It doesn't smear at all kind of thing. Of course, it comes off more like a felt tip pen in that way. It also feels a lot like a felt tip pen when you're drawing on the page. And I'd have to say the color does not fade too much, but this is an older pen kind of thing, so some areas are faded, like we can see up here and right here. Unless some areas are faded, some areas of the teeth, some areas of the fin, a little bit faded kind of thing, but it did not used to be that bad, if I'm remembering correctly at least. But I think that's all I had to say about this pen right here. I certainly hope you guys have enjoyed watching my video where I drew a fish with a Pentel Sign Pen. If you guys have enjoyed watching this video, of course, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my P.O. Box, and my main channel, all in the description down below. Go check it all out. But thank you very much for watching, y'all. To the next one, stay safe and peace and have a great one. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying?